Hi, welcome here. This is the class on the topic called petroleum and its formation. How the petroleum was formed that we are using now. I will begin this video by explaining fossil fuel, meaning of fossil fuel. Why? Because petroleum is a fossil fuel. What it means? To understand this, let me explain what is fossil. Fossil means it is the remains of something, remains of living thing, not something, remains of living things, very particularly. Okay, what it means? What it means now? Petroleum is a fossil fuel. It means petroleum is that we are using now is remains of living things that once lived on the earth. A million years ago, these living things, I will tell you which are those living things that are converted into a petroleum. Okay, I will tell you within a short time. I will explain to you. Okay. Now just understand, petroleum is remains of living thing that once lived on the earth's surface. Okay. Then we call this petroleum is a fossil fuel. Okay. Now it is clear, I hope. Then what's the difference between petroleum and petrol? See, petroleum is different. Petrol is different. I will explain what the difference, where the difference lies actually. See, when we drill the earth, we get the petroleum. We get the petroleum from the ground. Okay. As we get a water from the ground, like when we drill the earth, we get a petroleum. Okay, this is also called crude oil. Crude oil. When we pump out this crude oil to the surface by using the motor, some other way. Okay, this is called petroleum. Means it is the raw. This crude oil is called petroleum. Okay, but what is petroleum? Petrol then, when we purify this is a very crude oil. It has a lot of impurities. Okay, petroleum is a crude oil. It means it has a lot of impurities. When we extract the oil from the ground, it has a lot of impurities and mix of many things. Okay, when we purify this petroleum, we get petrol, we get diesel, we get gasoline, we get LPG, we get kerosene, and so many other things, so many products we get while upon purification of petroleum. Now just understand, petroleum is the crude oil that we get when we extract from the ground. Petrol is byproduct of petroleum. Byproduct of petroleum that we get upon the purification of petroleum. Okay. I think it is clear now what's the difference between petroleum and petrol. Okay. Then aquatic. The third point I wrote here, aquatic organisms. Why I wrote here? Because these are the living beings, living things that once lived on the earth's surface became now petroleum. Okay. These are the source of petroleum formation. I will explain how the petroleum was formed from this aquatic organism. That is the core of this video. I will explain it. I will explain to you. Before that, aquatic organisms are the source for the petroleum. As like plants are the source for plant remains are the source for the coal formation. Likewise, aquatic organisms are source for the petroleum formation. Okay. What are those aquatic organisms? Animals, animals like very tiny animals in the oceans we oftenly see those kind of organisms, and there are also plant material, phytoplankton, planktons we refer. Planktons means a very tiny microscopic algae. Those are also the source for the formation of the petroleum. But predominantly animals are the source for the formation of petroleum or a crude oil. Okay. Animals means not too much big. The animals means here that we oftenly seen in the oceanic atmosphere. That is fishes, so many other things, very tiny creatures we see in the movies or somewhere in the social media. Okay, those are the source for the formation of the petroleum. So, so collectively to name what's the source for the formation of the petroleum, it is aquatic organisms, predominantly animals. Okay, animals. Now let's discuss about formation of the petroleum. How the petroleum was actually formed. What's the mechanism behind the formation of the petroleum? Okay. Very simple mechanism, very simple process. As like the formation of the coal, I already explained. The formation began like this. We know what are the source for the formation of the petroleum. That is aquatic organisms, right? Aquatic organisms. Okay. This. See, when these organisms dies, they deposit on the surface of the on the surface of the soil. Water over it. Aquatic means the organisms which lives in the water, right? When these organisms die, they come and deposit on the surface, on the bottom of the pool of water. Okay. When they deposit or when they lie over the surface, the soil get deposited over it, over these organisms. Okay. Soil get deposited over it. With the millions of years, lot of years, the soil get deposited. Soil get deposited. Now the organisms, the remains, now they are remains of living things. Okay, they are not at all the living organisms. They are dead. Okay, when now they are under the pressure because of lot of deposits. There are of deposits under the over these remains, over the remains of the organisms. Okay, aquatic organisms. This caused the high pressure. This caused the high pressure because the content over these is soil. It is a heavy load heavy load. It has a lot of weight. Okay. This created pressure. This created pressure and high pressure and high temperature. High pressure and high temperature. And one more thing we need to aware about in this condition, that is high pressure and high temperature, there was also absence of oxygen. Can we find any oxygen under the soil? Because these organisms, these remains are fully under the soil. Can we find any oxygen here? No, not at all. Because of this absence of oxygen, high pressure and temperature, these remains of organism. What is remains here? The animal fat, oil, bones, like these things only, all things. Okay, these materials under this condition, within millions of years, turned into petroleum, crude oil. This is the way This is the way the organisms are converted into a petroleum. Or we can also call this as a crude oil. Because why we call this as a crude oil? Because it has a lot of impurities and many other components. It is not a single thing, petrol. It has a lot of things like petrol, diesel, kerosene. I already told you. Okay. This is the formation of the. This is the explanation about the formation of the petrol. So, I hope this is clear. And one more thing. One more note point I would like to mention here. See, coal is the fossil of coal is also fossil fuel, we know, because it is the source for this coal is plant, means forest collectively. The source for the petroleum is aquatic organisms. Predominantly means more. The contribution for the formation of the petroleum is more from the animals. Okay, so more from the animals. And the condition for the formation of these fossil fuels are same: pressure, high temperature, and absence of oxygen. Here we can observe the coal is in solid form, petroleum is liquid form. Why? Why the difference? Because the source for the formation of coal is plant. Plants are hard material. In the condition of pressure and temperature, that the state of matter, that is solid state, remains as same. But petroleum, while formation of the petroleum, these fats and oils of the, that is remains of aquatic organisms, turned into a liquid. Because crude oil is a liquid, coal is the solid. Okay. This is the note point we should be aware, because that enhances our understanding. Okay. This is all about the petroleum and its formation, and I hope this is clear to you.